Welcome to League of Legends Runes Reforged, where we're looking down sorcery. Unleash destruction. So firstly, we'll be starting off with the Keystones, then we'll move further down onto the runes, then I will explain the secondary buffs. Now firstly, we'll be starting off with Summon Aery. Your attacks and abilities send Aery to a target, damaging enemy champions or shielding allies. Aery cannot be sent out again until she returns to you, so Aery will either be a damage amplifier or a protection amplifier. Next, Arcane Comet. Damaging an enemy champion with an ability hurls a comet at their location. If Arcane Comet is on cooldown, reduces its remaining cooldown. And Arcane Comet has adaptive damage based upon level. Cooldown reduction applies best when damaging single target. Area of effect only reduces 10%. Damage over time only reduces 5%. Phase Rush. Hitting an enemy champion with 3 attacks or separate abilities within 3 seconds grants movement speed based on level. This lasts 3 seconds, and melee champions gain 75% slow resistance for the duration. Nullifying Orb. When you take magic damage that would reduce your health below 30%, you gain a shield that absorbs magic damage based on level for 4 seconds. This works like a Hex Drinker but improves as you level up. Mana Flow Band. Every 60 seconds, your next ability used has its mana or energy cost refunded and restores 8% of your missing mana or energy. The Ultimate Hat. Your ultimate's cooldown is reduced by 5%. Each time you cast your ultimate, its cooldown is further reduced by 2%. This stacks up to 5 times, meaning by the time you've got full stacks, you'll have 15% cooldown reduction. Remember, you start with 5% for taking this rune. Transcendence. Gain 10% cooldown reduction when you reach level 10. Each percent of cooldown reduction exceeding the CDR limit is converted to an adaptive bonus of AD or AP. Celerity. Gain 4% movement speed and add 8% of your bonus movement speed to your AP or AD, which is adaptive. Absolute Focus. Gain an adaptive bonus of damage, which is based upon level, when above 70% HP. Scorch. Your next ability hit sets the enemy champion on fire, dealing bonus magic damage based on level after 1 second. Water Walking. Gain 25 movement speed and gain an adaptive bonus based upon level when in the river. Gathering Storm. Every 10 minutes, gain adaptive bonuses. Within 10 minutes, you'd gain 8 AP or 5 AD, and every 10 minutes, this will increase gradually. Within 60 minutes, 168 AP or 101 AD, and this carries on until the game ends. There's also a secondary section that you can select when selecting sorcery as your primary. When selecting your secondary, the extra bonus that you will get is adaptive damage, AD being 15 and AP being 25. The buffs that you get on domination are pretty similar, but you get it more on sorcery, as sorcery is more about improved attacks and sustained damage. Now for gameplay, we'll be focusing more primarily on the Keystone, and we're gonna start off talking about Summon Aery. When equipping Aery, Aery will be damaging enemy champions as well, and protecting allied champions. Aery is a good example of being a damaging amplifier and a shielding amplifier. Abilities casted on allies allows Aery to protect them. A good prime example that this Keystone will go really good on is Soraka or Sona. We'll be focusing more down on Sona though. Sona has really strong abilities and is a support and heals allied champions. Sona's Q does a lot of damage towards enemies. Aery can go in and do extra damage towards enemies, and then when Sona needs to protect her allies, more specifically the ADC, Aery will do extra shielding towards the allied champion. So Aery is very helpful when you're playing support, and sometimes in cases this can work when you're playing mid lane. You can constantly use Aery as long as Aery comes back to you, meaning you can let off a bunch of damage just by constantly proccing Aery. This helps with cheesing at level 1. Arcane Comet. I'd say Arcane Comet is really good for champions, especially burst mages, or just mages in general. Mages that have CC work really well with Arcane Comet. Arcane Comet goes towards an enemy champion when using an ability on them and has a cooldown. Arcane Comet can be dodged if the enemy is not slowed, CC'd, or if they're fast enough to move out of its way. But usually it's really good for poking down your enemy champion, especially in the first few levels. When CCing an enemy, they're locked in place for Arcane Comet to hit, doing extra damage, and it helps with extra poke on the lane, applying pressure and keeping you winning that lane. Bear in mind, Arcane Comet can fly across the map also. When using Teemo Shrooms or using global ultimates like Ezreal ulti or Jinx ulti, the Arcane Comet will also go flying along with it, so make sure you're slowing them right in the end. I'd say Arcane Comet will definitely work globally for Ashe's ultimate, as it will lock them in place and it will get Arcane Comet flying into their faces and going kaboom. But the best prime example champion for this Keystone would be Zoe. Zoe has lockdown and a huge bursting ability. Phase Rush. Phase Rush is really good for mages that need movement speed, and that movement speed can be used to gap close on enemies, or escape them, or dodge them. Phase Rush is really good for champions that don't have enough mobility, and this will really help when you're getting ganked. Throwing off abilities will also give you that movement speed. As long as you only get 3 hits off, you'll be fine and good to go. And a prime example of someone using Phase Rush, I'd say Veigar would work really well. He may not have the best mobility, and he can get locked down pretty easily when the enemy gets close to you, but it's always good to take Phase Rush to avoid the enemies. Plus, the reason he can take this is because Aery and Arcane Comet provide damage. Veigar can build on his own damage, so why not have some movement speed within your Runes build? Thanks for tuning in within this Runes Reforged sorcery video. If you guys want to see more, here's a bunch of other rune paths that you guys can discover. Check the description below to check out the guy who actually helped me with this, and thanks to all my friends that contributed within helping me within the replays and everything else. Stay tuned for more. Thanks for watching.